the rest of the things. So yesterday we had a meeting with Martin, and Martin also took him through a bit of the code. Martin wanted him to do the first task being the access control, so that we look at the roles in the system and the various routes, so that we can map, we can be able to make sure that every route or every nini kuna access control. But in the morning pia nikamentionia that something else that is tied to access control will be the maker checker, because most of the transaction in the system even will have to go through the approval process. So in essence, Martin just introduced him a bit of introduction to the routes. The access control. So maybe Nicholas, what you can also just introduce him to your code and the areas that you think he needs to start focus on. But basically, our agreement with Martin was that George should have an Excel file where he can identify all the routes and be able to put access controls. And he can able to put access controls everywhere that's needed. And then
why Excel file? We have Jira where you can just write all this.
Yeah, I think we can do Jira. Yeah, I think we can do Jira. I think no, but basically George, after George has the Excel file, he can just send it to me. I'll be able to add them to Jira.
Because Excel file now hides information from other team members. When you put in Jira, everyone sees and is able to see what's happening.
Yeah, so I don't know, George, are you able to add them on Jira, or we'll want to still do Excel file and send to me so that I can add, if you're not yet comfortable with Jira?
I think either way is I'm okay with.
Okay, then you can just add them directly as an issue, especially if you look at, I think Nicholas is more new on Jira, but if you look at the Jira, you can add, okay, what we agreed with Martin yesterday, so haiko hapa in the Jira issue. So what you can do is to add it as a new issue, and then you'll be able to list everything that you are supposed to achieve. Because the first thing
there's some noise. There's some noise. I don't know what
no, hiyo ni nini? I think ni earphone ya mouth nini, microphone ya George ndio inatoanga hiyo sauti.
Microphone ya computer ama external microphone? Maybe you can remove it to make a.
No, he's using a desktop. He's using a desktop, so he has to have an external.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but anyway, akimute tu ni sawa. Akimute so unasikia the sauti imeenda. So what I'm trying to say, George, is that on Jira, once you have identified those issues, you have them on Excel file. Then I think you can just create the issue here on Jira, and then you can be able to add hizo items zote that you're supposed to achieve. Because the first thing is to plan in terms of what is it that you're supposed to achieve. So these items zote Martin will list on Excel file, you can list them here on Jira. And then now, once you are able to resolve them or complete them, then you'll just mark complete, so that we know from Jira that this is actually what you are doing, and this is what you have done. Yeah, so basically for today, Nicholas, what is important is for you to take him through the code so that he can be able to understand the areas that he needs to understand for him to be able, because I know the main thing is that when akimaliza that, the first task hiyo yenye Martin amempatia, then we have all these other tasks that are to be achieved. So bado I think the main reason why Martin amempatia hiyo access control, Martin wants to complete M-Pesa outgoing, the M-Pesa B2C migration, I mean integration, in a way that somebody can be able to initiate a transaction from the system and approve from the system, and it goes through. And remember, what we will be doing, the first integration, the one we have is with M-Pesa. But the moment that we will have integrated within the bank, AMA Pesa link, which means that transaction, the system, if you have the right APIs, should be able to pull funds from whatever source, whether it's a bank or M-Pesa, and send to whatever client that it needs to send. So this means that this access control and maker checker module must be done thoroughly well, so that we don't have issues whereby somebody can create a dummy customer and transfer money to them and send money outside. Yani we don't have gaps for fraud. So I think once is done with the first, the first task, then we should be able to check these other tasks. What else is you'll be able to do? But basically, for now, I think it's important for you next to take him through maybe your code or the areas you think he should be able to understand, because I'm very sure he was asking about maker check. I don't, for example, understand how it is done. Access control, I know you also have a lot that you did there, so you can be able to just take him through so that he knows what connects to what. Nicholas, back to you.
So even before we start on the code, let me start with Jira and Confluence, because those are key items. They're the ones that will determine how the project moves. So let me start with Jira, and then we go to Confluence. So Jira, let me share my screen. I didn't see the items you had added on Jira. Which project did you add them to? Because you're supposed to have added them here. SNBCTS scope. I can only see the ones that we did last time with Fred. Like this one for confirm the underlying payment reconciliation feature on SNB to set requirements, add comprehensive payment reconciliation checks.
Nicholas, we can't see your screen.
Yeah?
We can't see your screen. It looks like it is coming, but it is still blank. Nikama, maybe you can unshare then reshare. I don't know. Ama ni mimi peke yangu ndo sioni.
I think it's my
hata mimi sioni.
My what? It was the Zuku, Safaricom.
Oh, the Zuku is slow. Chukua Elon Musk bana, Starlink.
Tuende kwa Musk.
Musk is 200 Mbps.
Utaenda huko very soon. Wacha things stabilize. No, saa hizi watu wameingia mara kwanza, there's still some teething problems. Okay, you can see my screen, huh?
Able and share, love for share.
Now?
Bado haijafika, sijui kama bado. Ama ni Skype yako. Unajua Skype inakuwa na issues ma. Sometimes you.
Are you seeing Nani? George, are you able to see anything there?
No, the screen is blank dark.
There. My screen in.
I've switched to Safaricom. Move from Zuko. Hata haikuji.
Imekuja sasa. Imekuja after
now
a long
we can
time.
see.
Okay, so this is the screen, huh? So tuko na hizi nini mbili tuko tumeshaanza. So there is the one epic we are done here, sprint 1, which was supposed to start from 4 to 12 August. It has never begun, so you can always readjust it. So these are the items for transaction reconciliations. And then the next sprint was supposed to be on registration. Here, lead staging and approval process, blah, 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 all these details. So these have not been handled yet. So what we need to do is whenever you have new stories or new items to be done on this scope, you should add them here. So we have all of them in one place.
So it should be in backlog.
You did a new one, huh?
Backlog. So you should. Where should you add them? I think maybe Mindy and Nazi at the wrong place. Just try to add a new one.
Kuna new projects. Okay, we can do a new one, but there are different projects. You see, there's SNB CTS scope, mobile circle, President Taka full circle scope.
Oh.
I think you must have added them somewhere else. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. By the way.
Na hii tulishatoa because ilikuwa iko na issue na haikuwa na accept stories. Ni easy.
Yeah, your bugs identified. So this is the original scope ya CTS yenye nili add. Hiyo present full circle. So issue 46 hapo hiyo to fix the bugs. I think maybe it's equal. We
have a brand new speed bump challenge.
Next umepotea.
Aya, so nilikuwa nataka tuzimove. Chini hizi.
Yani hizo.
Need to move them to the other project. Move aje. No, hii project will create vibaya. Nakumbuka this is the one that I recreated.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to move them from here. Because hii kona vitu mingi haina. So when you're, how do we move them? Edit. Let me see. If I open a single one, there's a way you can always move it. Okay, no worries. Acha taangalia vile nitaifanya. But okay, kama ziko hapa, so let's move to the other one. So the other one ni gani? Hiyo ingine.
Hiyo SNB CTS scope.
Yeah. Okay, so in the backlog for this project. So normally we store our stories in epics. So epics is the overarching parent classification of the stories. So you have an epic, and then under that epic you then add the different items to be done in that epic. So if it's like if it's the roles one like the one you're saying, just a moment. Just see. So we create an epic. Like now, easy ukiangalia easy, they are under the epic. Payments reconciliation, all of them. You can see all of them are in green color. And then under payment reconciliation, we have these stories. So each stories can have subtasks. So for example, upload account statements. If I open it, you'll find there are different tasks under upload account statements. Create user interface for uploading payment statements. Develop backend endpoint to handle the file upload based on payment type. Validate uploaded file format, blah, blah, blah. So these are stories. Under story, we have tasks. So tasks are the ones you'll be knocking off. Whenever you do, like for example, task 1, currently is in progress, you just come and change here to done. So once you're done with that, you go to task 2, set it in progress. So we have, like here, you can just set it from here. In progress, when you're working on it. So you first assign yourself the task. So let me close this. So you can assign yourself a task by selecting this, and then you select your name. So for example, George. And then you work on it. Once you're done, you set it to done, like that. So the tasks are what we'll be handling individually. So they can appear under story. So like here, this is the story. Let me see. You can see the story, how it looks like. So the task, the responsibility of writing stories, normally it's on the person who will be working on it. So you need to know how to write the stories and how to go around closing them once you're done. So like here we use what we call the Gherkin approach. That is Gherkin, Gherkin approach, where when you're writing a story, you write the title of the story, and then under that, let me move to somewhere where there's no noise. Just a moment. Okay, am I still audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we use the Gherkin approach to set. The good thing about Gherkin approach, it guides anybody who comes to read this story. Even if they are not there when it was being formulated, they know exactly what's required. It's easy for them to start working on it. So it doesn't require someone else to explain again that this is what you're supposed to do. They just come and look at a story. They can easily tell what's required, what is the acceptance criteria, a description of the story. We go to acceptance criteria. What do we expect at the end of this? Once you're done with this story, what should be done? What should the system be able to do? Then they have the tasks. Okay, tasks is not a must that you have because we still have them here as the tasks under that story. And then, yeah, so these are just a description of the tasks. But as you can see, you already have the task on the left-hand side. So this is the Gherkin approach. Normally, you write a story in terms of as the person who is going to be doing this work. So like here you say, as a system administrator, I want to upload payment statements into the system so that the Circle system can reconcile member accounts based on payments made. So that's how we write it. And then you put acceptance criteria, tasks, optional, or you can add them under this as part of. So ChatGPT can help you write this. So you just need to give it the right prompts to help you write any task that you have in this format. So that is one. So anytime you're done the story or a task, make sure it's closed. So someone who is following can easily tell, like today you've done how many tasks and so on and so forth. The active sprints is where you'll find the currently active sprint, the one that is currently running. By looking at the sprint board, you can easily see how many tasks have been moved from to do in progress and how many are done. So by just looking at this board, you can see nothing has been done. So there's only 2 tasks in progress and all the rest are in to do. So when you're looking at your board almost at the end of the sprint, we expect the done section to have many tasks. In progress could be a few, to do maybe could be a few as well, but you expect towards the end of a sprint but most of the tasks should be in the done stage. So done means you've done that task to the end. So you fully tested it, everything is working. That's when you push it to done. So we are not writing unit tests at the moment, but it's something we plan to introduce. Once we have a favorable chunk of this application running, which I think is essential because unit tests help you to catch some of these errors early on in the development stage. You don't have to push everything to production and you start testing manually before you can find bugs. So unit tests will help with that. Currently, we don't have that, but it's going to form part of our definition of done. Whenever you say something is done, by that time, we'll expect to have unit tests for that particular functionality as well. Yeah, so basically, those are the two items we'll interact with mostly. The rest are mainly for reporting purposes. Then the story maps. Story maps is a new plugin I added. It's an external plugin that I imported into Jira. So these story maps allow you to categorize your stories into epics. So you can see here we have 2 epics. So we have payment reconciliation as one epic, customer registration as another epic, and under customer registration, then we have the various stories, the ones you're looking at on the other side. As you can see, they all have a similar color. And then if you open each story, you'll find the tasks under each story. So depending on how many epics the application has, you can have payment reconciliation, you can have customer registration, you can have that role-based access that you're talking about as an epic as well. And under it, you have the various tasks under that role-based access. So like here to create a new epic, you just say role-based access to system function. Yeah, so that becomes epic. Then under this epic, you can then add the various stories that will form role-based access to system functionality. So you want to make sure all the CRUD operations are associated with the various roles on the front end as well as back end. Then you can list all the stories you think are necessary for this function to work. Then under each story, you then put each task that you'll be handling, each one by one. So once you have this role-based access epic, you can then add now individual stories. So implement permission restricted or menu access controlled by user permissions. So that becomes your first story, and so on and so forth. So just go ahead and explain it, put in your acceptance criteria, the description, and we normally have also background information if needed, just to describe exactly what you want to achieve in that particular task. Yeah, so you make sure they are stories, because if they are not stories, that you may not add tasks below them. So make sure they are stories. Then now if you go back to your backlog then will have, now if you go back to the backlog, now in our backlog we have, so there's this new epic that has come here, you can see. Implement menu access controlled by user permissions, and it's in this role-based access to system functionality. Yeah, so that's how you organize your Jira board so that it's easy for you to tell which tasks are in which epic. Like it's easy to tell all these yellow ones are customer registration, all these green ones are payment reconciliation, the blue ones will be role-based access, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's Jira, fairly straightforward. So at the start of a sprint, normally we start the sprint from here, and then so this sprint did not start. I think we can just complete. So we move everything to the backlog. So man, open issues. Create a retrospective for this sprint. No. So move open issues to backlog. Okay, complete sprint. So sprint retro we're not doing at the moment yet. but once we are ready for it, we'll start handling even the retros where we review how the sprint went and so on. Yeah, so now everything is in the backlog, so there's no active sprint at the moment. So any new task, we just add them to this epic. And then once you add it to the epic, story, sorry. And once you add it to the epic, then you add task under that epic. Yeah, so that's it. That's for Jira. Confluence. This is Confluence. You can still see my screen, Cinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so this is Confluence. So Confluence is our new documentation tool. So you do all the documentation in Confluence. Why Confluence and not Google Drive or the others? The others require access, and it's a bit restrictive, particularly Google Drive and the rest. Confluence, so long as you've been added as a team member, you can add any information here that every team member has access to. So it tries to prevent scenarios whereby you have to ask somebody all the time, give me access to this document, please share with me this document, and so on. So once everything is here, it becomes easy for everyone to access. So if you want something on user guides, you already have a user guides directory here, and you can find the various user guides that we have. So here we have the user guides arranged in terms of these titles. So each title is a module. Account is a module by itself in the system. Treasury is a module by itself. Deposit and loans. Messaging is it's a module by itself. Registration and administration. Under administration, you already have loans and deposits product setup, which was worked on by Steve. Yeah, so here you can easily find the various sections you want to see. So if you want to see how to the tax settings, is that link. It will guide you on how to go around it. What you need to do if you want to add a new loan product, what you need to do if you want to finance, and so on and so forth. Training and development. For any training needs, we have various training categories here. I hope this password still works. It's a password that I normally get from a friend. But if it doesn't work, we'll need to fetch new ones. We need to ask what the new passwords are. So this is a Udemy learning site. So the password keeps changing regularly. So you need to make sure once you log into Udemy, you don't log out. Because so long as you log in and don't log out, even if you come back tomorrow, even if the machine shuts down and restarts, the password still remains. So you can still access even without changing the password to a new one. But once you log out, it will check if the password has expired. And if it's expired, you'll be required to enter a new one. So once you log in, don't need to log out. And then we have API docs. I think we have API docs. I think we have one for VAS and payment integration APIs. This is an application we have running currently that guys connect to whenever they want to do M-Pesa transactions or to receive money through M-Pesa. That is for clients. Servers and app access.
Yeah, but we need to add the API docs for SNV. You know, there are
Yeah.
people who need that.
Yeah, we'll need one for SNB as well. I think that will be essential to have. Then projects, some may not be active at the moment, but currently we have SNB, finance. Steve, you had put them there. Okay, I can see you use letter huko for user guides. Okay, so this can be user guide. Then you can have a module or system documentation. So like if I want to do a system documentation, technical documentation, I say, that is, I want to know what each of the module contains and how the module is structured. So this is where we do it from. This other one is just a concept, not yet thought out. I think it's something that just futuristic for now. Okay. So whenever you go to Confluence to add a new item, let's say you want to document whatever you're working on, I insist do documentation for everything you're working on. So once you're done with an implementation, for example, if you're doing the role-based access, just open SNB projects, go to That's under administration module. Under administration module, you can add. See this plus at the end. You use it to add a document below it or a page. So here you can say, just give it a title there. So here we say role-based access to system menus. Role-based access, publish. That becomes your title. So you can always add stories under it if you feel like it has sub pages or subtitles. But it's just, if you feel you can write all that in one document, just need to open it, go to update, which is this icon, edit. Then in edit, you now write the information here. This is the editor for role-based access. So here you can talk about permissions, how the permissions is set up. You can talk about roles, how the roles are assigned, assignment of those roles. And also you can talk of how you protect routes using permissions on the front end and back end. Permissions, maybe under this you can have front end, how to do front end and how to do back end, route protection, and so on. Once you're done, save it, update. So that information comes under administration module under role-based access to system. So under administration module, you can have other things as well. There's so many things under the administration module, like registration settings, we have company settings, and so on and so forth. So there's so many things under administration. So just add them as separate pages. Then each page, you can add its own content. So once you have this, it becomes easy to locate anything. If you want to locate something under administration module, just come to administration module, find it under here, open it, you see all the information there. So I'll add you as a team member here, so you'll be able to access. And then once you're in,
I think I've added him already.
Oh, it's already here. Okay, I can see. Sawa, then that's good. Yeah, so that's how I expect the flow to go, so that everything is visible. Even what you're doing is visible to everyone. So if you update a task on Jira, everyone is able to tell how you're progressing with time. And of course, all the time, make sure there is documentation for whatever you're working on, so that you can preserve that piece of work and don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you need to make a change. Somebody has to start thinking, what did I do here? Start asking, oh, what was this code doing? What was this supposed to do? At least when the information is here, it's even easy now to collaborate with other team members, because they'll find the information there. They don't have to keep asking you questions. You just tell them to go to this document, to look at whatever you want, and it becomes easy. Good. Now that part one is done. Let's go to the document, the code itself. So as you know, the code is split into two so far. We have backend and frontend. So backend runs on Laravel, frontend runs on Vue.js. So we're currently using Vue 3, which uses composition API. Then Laravel, currently we are on Laravel 8, which I'm thinking we need to upgrade to 11. But there are some features that we can't use in 8, which are very, very essential. So those ones can be sorted out as we go. Yeah, so let me share the code base. Sure. Okay, so let me stop sharing this. Can share code base. Okay, so that was the first part. Let me stop recording that.